Imagine a Wallabies captain so unstoppable that he shattered a 60-year curse at Ellis Park, charging through Springbok defenses like a freight train on fire only for the world to blindside everyone by crowning him alongside a midfield maestro in rugby's ultimate Hall of Fame. What if this duo's glory hides a secret betrayal that could upend the sport forever? Stick around, because this story's just igniting. In the blistering heat of Johannesburg's Highveld, Harry Wilson gripped the ball like a vice, his eyes locked on a horizon unbroken for decades. The year was 2025, and Australia faced South Africa in a rugby championship clash that echoed the ghosts of defeats past. Ellis Park, that fortress of green and gold nightmares, had swallowed Wallaby hopes whole since 1963. No victory, no mercy, just endless echoes of what-ifs. But Wilson, the towering number 8 from Queensland, wasn't built for echoes. At 25, he'd risen from Super Rugby's trenches with the Reds, his carries averaging 15 meters a pop, offload slick as oil on water. As captain, he'd welded a fractured squad into a blade, barking orders that turned chaos into precision. The crowd's roar drowned the pre-match nerves, but deep in his gut, Wilson felt the weight. This was redemption or ruin. The whistle blew, and he exploded forward, shrugging off tackles from behemoths like Pieter-Steph du Toit, who clawed at him like a lion denied its kill. Meters piled up 20, 30 until he grounded the ball under the posts, the stadium erupting in stunned silence before erupting into pandemonium. Australia won 28-24, the drought shattered, and Wilson's name etched into lore. But as celebrations faded, whispers stirred. Had his raw power masked a vulnerability, a chink in the armor that rivals were already probing? Little did he know, across the Pacific, another Aussie was weaving magic that would bind their fates in ways neither could foresee. Teasing the edge of brilliance, Wilson's triumph begged the question: what if one man's charge was just the spark for a nation's inferno? Shifting gears to the velvet thunder of Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium, Len Ikitau stepped into the unknown, his heart pounding like war drums under the floodlights. Born in Auckland but forged in Australian fire, the 24-year-old centre had always danced on the fringes, versatile, elusive, but never the undisputed king. 2025 flipped the script when coach Joe Schmidt slotted him inside at number 12, a position demanding not just speed but surgical vision, the quarterback of the backline. Ikitau adapted like water to stone, his first test there against Fiji a revelation: 14 carries, 2 tries, and a game-high 142 running meters that sliced defenses open. Critics who dismissed him as a utility player gasped as he ghosted past all-black centers, his footwork a blur of feints and flicks that left opponents grasping air. Off the field, he trained like a monk, dissecting footage until dawn, his humility masking a hunger that burned hotter than Queensland summers. By mid-season, he'd snagged the John Eales Medal, Australia's highest individual honour, the first inside centre ever to claim it, a shockwave that rippled through rugby's elite. Teammates called him the silent assassin, his offloads threading needles no one else saw. Yet, in the quiet aftermath of awards night, Ikitau stared at his trophy, a flicker of doubt creeping in. Was this peak or prelude? Rumours swirled of poaching bids from Europe, temptations that could fracture his Wallaby bond. And just as he pondered his path, the call came from World Rugby HQ, a pairing with Wilson that stunned the globe, thrusting two Aussies into a dream team dominated by Springboks. But hold on, because this alliance wasn't born of chance, it concealed a twist that could redefine loyalties and launch a rivalry fiercer than any test match. Now, picture the global stage ablaze as World Rugby unveiled its 2025 Men's 15s Dream Team, a pantheon where legends collide and underdogs ascend. South Africa stormed in with 6 Warriors, Malcolm Marx anchoring the hooker spot with his unbreakable scrummaging, Ox Nche and Thomas du Toit forming a front row wall of granite, Pieter-Steph du Toit prowling the back row like a predator reborn, Sasha Feinberg and Gamgela dictating play with fly-half sorcery, and Cheslin Colby electrifying the wing with sidesteps that defy physics. New Zealand countered with Cam Roigard's darting scrum half-guile and Will Jordan's full-back aerial mastery, while England's Maro Itoje and Tom Curry brought lock ferocity and flanker venom. Ireland's Tad Byrne locked down the second row with his line-out wizardry, France's Louis Beale-Byery added wing flair, and Scotland's Hugh Jones steadied the outside centre with veteran poise. But the jaw-dropper? Australia's double strike, Wilson at number 8, his Ellis Park heroics immortalised, and Ikitau at inside centre, his positional reinvention validated on the world's grandest canvas. 7 nations woven into this tapestry, yet the Aussies' inclusion sparked frenzy. How had 2 Wallabies pierced a box blockade? Insiders buzzed about Wilson's leadership lifting a resurgent Australia to 3rd in rankings, and Ikitau's 85% pass accuracy fueling backline fireworks. It was a nod to resilience amid rebuilds, a surprise that silenced doubters who'd written off the green and gold. As confetti fell in Monaco's awards hall, Wilson and Ikitau shared a glance, brothers in arms, their selections a beacon for a nation starved of glory. Yet, lurking beneath the cheers was the real shocker: leaked emails hinting at internal Wallaby fractures, where egos clashed and futures hung by a thread. Would this dream team honor unite them, or expose cracks that threatened to crumble it all? This electrifying dream team isn't just a snapshot, it's a prophecy for 2020 SIXS Nations Championship, where these titans will clash anew, alliances tested, legacies forged in fire. Harry Wilson's thunderous carries and Len Ikitau's midfield mastery have Aussie rugby dreaming big again, but with South Africa's dynasty looming and whispers of squad unrest brewing, one question haunts: can these two carry a nation on their shoulders, or will hidden betrayals pull the rug out? The stakes have never been higher, the drama just beginning. If this tale of triumph and turmoil has you hooked, smash that like button, drop a comment on who you'd add to the dream team, and subscribe for more pulse-pounding rugby revelations that keep you on the edge. Brought to you by Aussie NRL. Update your pulse on the action, even when the code crosses oceans. What happens when Dream Team glory collides with off-field storms? Hit play on the next VID to uncover the scandal that could shake Wallaby world forever. Behind the Monaco glamour and the World Rugby red carpet smiles, a storm was already brewing inside the Wallabies camp that nobody saw coming. Sources inside the squad leaked a bombshell group chat from the night of the Dream Team announcement. Harry Wilson, still buzzing from his Ellis Park high, posted a simple fire emoji under Ikitau's name. Innocent enough, right? Wrong. Within minutes, senior players fired back. One called it captain picking favorites, another accused Ikitau of stat padding during the Fiji demolition to steal the John Eales medal votes. The chat spiraled so fast that coaches had to shut it down at 3 a.m. What shocked everyone was the name at the center of the venom: Fraser McRae, the Reds' open side who many believed was robbed of the number 8 jersey when Wilson took the captaincy. McRae had carried quietly all year, topping the tackle count and pilfer charts, yet here he was watching his Queensland teammate soak up global praise while he sat outside the Dream Team entirely. Whispers turned to shouts: was Wilson protecting his mate Ikitau at the expense of the team balance? The fracture lines were drawn: Brumbies boys versus Reds clique, old guard versus Schmidt's new regime, and suddenly the two Dream Team heroes weren't riding a wave, they were surfing on a knife edge. One more loss, one more leaked message, and the whole resurgence could implode before the nation's championship even kicked off. Fast forward 3 weeks and the plot twisted harder than a Cheslin Colby sidestep. Len Ikitau, the quiet assassin, vanished from Wallabies training with no explanation. Social media went feral: retirement? Injury? European defection? Then the truth dropped like a bomb. Ikitau had secretly flown to Paris for negotiations with Racing 92, a deal reportedly worth €1.2 million a season, triple his Rugby Australia contract. The same week Harry Wilson was fronting press conferences preaching loyalty and building something special, his midfield general was one signature away from jumping ship. When confronted, Ikitau didn't deny it, he simply said, "I have to think about life after rugby, my family deserves security." The betrayal cut deep. Wilson, who had personally lobbied Joe Schmidt to shift Ikitau to 12 and build the attack around him, felt the knife twist. Fans turned savage: how do you crown a World Dream Team star one month and watch him the exit the next? Rugby Australia scrambled, offering a marquee contract exemption to keep him, but the damage was done. Trust inside the squad shattered overnight, and every training session became a Cold War. The Dream Team glow? Tarnished. The Aussie rugby renaissance? Hanging by a thread. And here's where it gets downright ruthless, because the final gut punch is still coming. Insiders now say Wilson has delivered Schmidt an ultimatum: either McRae starts at 7 and he slides to 6 for the nation's championship opener against the All Blacks, or the captaincy itself is on the table. He's willing to burn it all down to fix the fracture he believes is poisoning the team. Ikitau's future hangs in limbo, racing circling like sharks while RA scrambles to match the money. One nation, two Dream Team kings, and a civil war that could decide whether 2026 becomes Australia's greatest triumph or its darkest collapse. The clock is ticking, the stakes are brutal, and the next 48 hours will decide everything. Smash subscribe right now, because when that final decision drops, Aussie NRL Update will have it first, raw, unfiltered, and straight from the fire. This isn't just rugby drama, this is the edge of history, and you do not want to miss what happens next.